Ugh.
Gonna get copyrighted striked within like the first 2 seconds of this episode.
Oh, contention.
Alright, I got that link going out. I can get this to paste.
Weather here sucks today.
It usually sucks. So, it's like Hraesvalgr dumped all that lore knowledge on us, and it's like Zuyai and Larx pull each other to the side while Yazel's having a moment, and Justinian's ready to go kill something, and Alfino has a plan.
No, like, we could just jump from here, you know?
Zuyai has ordered a full French toast breakfast and is eating it, so if you hear eating noises, it's just Zuyai eating French toast.
You just hear munch munch and and Zuya's just like loving it. She's McLoving it every second.
Everybody's in pain, and she's like, it's time for me to eat some French toast.
She's like, finally, we can finally go home.
The French toast I have has raspberries and strawberries on it.
Ooh.
What about the Eorzean equivalent? Rollin' berries. What are blueberries? Do they have blueberries? They have to have blueberries in Eorzea, right?
I feel like they do. Oh, they're called like Lanacean blueberries or grapes or something.
Yeah, they have grapes. What does my culinary recipe book tell me? I believe we even have French toast in Eorzea, but we can't call it French toast because there is no France.
It's like Lord Hodgepod's breakfast.
Lord Hodgepod's breakfast, in which he takes some toast, adds some cinnamon and sugar to it, and lightly crisp it. And then he pours syrup all over himself. It's a very odd way to have French toast, the Warrior of Lights thinks.
And while he's all oiled and greased up, he licks the salt.
They got apple tarts. See, there's apples. There's just straight up apples.
we just gate over that because then there's apples.
No. What else is new with Hodgepod? Zuyai is like reading off the menu as Hodgepod's like trying to seduce Larx or something, and she's just like, huh, they got apple tarts on the menu.
As like chainmail's like getting thrown across the room behind you.
Lark's just like, no means no.
No means no.
Shepherd's pie.
Only the best food on the Citadel.
Shepherd's pie is made with antelope.
It would have been I would have laughed if it was like Canadian steak. And I'm like, this is the Shepherd Caden meal. Oh, there goes the depression. Oh, wait, no. Now it's angry.
What is angry with you? Oh, the weather.
The weather went, I was like, oh, we're gonna see skies. No, now the sky's just pissed.
We got blood currants. Would blood currants be like a raspberry? They say it's a tart red berry. I'm just stalling for time for our fans to come in through the stream and just looking through the book of cooking, trying to find blueberries. Another apple product, apple juice. Now, what are rolling berries? Strawberries? They look like strawberries. See, there's no strawberries, but there's rolling berries. And there's no raspberries, but there's blood currants. But there's just plain ass apples. I guess they call them, what, mirror apples? There's different types of variety of apples. Because there's also a pixie apple, isn't there?
I think so.
Oh, here's some fun fact about the mirror apple. It's a sweet yet sour variety of apple native to Corythus.
Oh. They still have fruit.
Oh, they still try to eat something, you know? They can't just eat ice sprites.
I thought they were eating yellow snow this whole time and they're just slowly going mad.
I think that's all the dragon blood they have. Is what's making them go.
Don't drink the red snow now.
Let's see, there's Lanocean toast. But I think that's it's like a just plain ass toast. It's a slice of bread soaked in a mixture of buffalo milk and eggs, and then fried in creamy butter. That sounds really good. They have figs.
Well, that's good.
Where's the, what's the Sawmill Tart made out of?
I think it has Roland Berry in it.
Actually this one has dark chestnut and maple sugar.
Oh wait, isn't that the chocolate? I remember I had to make that for culinary and just hearing that word triggers me.
I know, the Sawmill Tart. I think it's part of also the Amber tea set that you have to make for housing. I can just look it up here. What's the House Burrell tea set? This is what they eat at House Burrell. The Sawmill Tart, Fig, Bavario? I don't know how you pronounce that. Wait, I can just link it. Is this thing. Or it's made out of figs, gelatin, and yak milk. I guess is that like a flan?
I have no idea.
They describe it as a ripe old world fig encased in a lightly sweetened jelly. So it's like a whole fig in jelly? That's what Abrick eats? He eats figs and jelly?
What, are we talking about food or him doing Estinian?
Oh, that's the Sawmill Tart.
Oh.
You're just a Sawmill Tart.
You're just a 3-star tart.
This episode's gonna start really great. It's just like Zi and Larks are like discussing what Abrick eats, and Istinian's over there like, are you calling me a tart? What? The Sawmill Tart seems to be filled with like a hazelnut cream or something. They say it's a traditional Ishgardian cake made up of several stacked layers tapered to resemble Sawmill, a peak sacred to the Dravanians. Why would they do that? If it's sacred to the Dravanians, why do they make it a whole, like, dessert out of it? Oh, I didn't read the last part. Ishgardians believe that devouring the mountain will grant them fortune in their struggle with the dragons.
Why are we helping these people?
They make like a maple hazelnut tart. And they're like, I'm gonna eat this mountain so that I can destroy dragons.
I used to ask if Ishgard's okay, but now I'm just like, this is normal.
Their food is something out of this world. I would eat every single one of their foods. I'm not sure how much I love figs, but it's not like I hate figs. I don't know if I'd eat a fig encased in jelly, but I'd always try it. And then, of course, the last thing on the House Burl tea set you have to make is Ishgardian tea. Just, you know, straight up just Ishgard tea. And apparently, unlike the other Eorzeans, where they add milk to boiling water that has been infused with tea leaves, usually how I make my tea, as is the fashion in Lower Eorzea. Wow, they're throwing shade in this description.
Whoa.
Ishgardian tea. I guess they're talking about the lower parts of Eorzea, but I'm reading it as like lower Eorzea. Ishgardian tea is brewed by boiling yak milk and letting dried Kaorthan tea leaves steep right into the hot milk. So they're like, unlike the lower Eorzea, we just put the tea leaves directly into the milk and then go lick our salt rock at the table.
Oh boy.
There you go. There's your Ishgard lore before we start this today.
So many more questions though.
I know.
But, oh boy, today we are starting part 2 of New Game Plus with Heavensward. Venturing deep into the domain of the dragons, the heroes come face to face with the great worm Hraesvelgr, from whom they learn the sword truth of the dragon song lore. Born of man's treachery was this bloody conflict, and by man's hand it must be ended. Thus does the Warrior of Light sally forth with Ishgard's greatest champion, the Azure Dragoon, on a mission to crush the serpent's head. Wow, even the description isn't even playing. It's even fed up too.
It's like, Jesus Christ, finish this.
Pretty much.
I like to imagine, like, if this were a TV show, it'd be like featuring guest star Estinian, the Azure Dragoon.
I like how someone's also in the Azure Dragoon outfit next to him. Last where we left off, 5 power bottoms tried to blow a horn to summon a top, but he was like, "You are none of y'all are submissible. Goodbye."
So he was like, power bottom, speak for your damn self.
Some of them have recovered. This bottom has not recovered.
Yselle is, she's gonna be, what did they call it? The heroic blue screen. That trope. She has lost the will to go on. Imagine, like, your worst rejection. Like, you found, like, the hottest piece of ass at the, what is it? The bar rodeo. All of your friends encouraged you. You went up to them, gave them their number, and they were like, what? That's her, but it played like the hottest dragon that ever existed in this land. Like,
what does she have to say?
I think she says what she said last time. Yeah,
oh, yeah,
she's a little bit more worried about the fact that she made up a goddess with her imagination and has been pretending to be a god on accident.
She's like, wow, I am trash.
She didn't realize that she wasn't just summoning Jiva, she was using her image and parading around as a fake version of her.
And now she's a primalist. Good for you.
She's like, I catfished everyone.
Alright, Alfino. The worm's lair. Alfino is considered your party's next course of action. I'm pretty sure it's death.
Alfino's like, wait a minute, I still have a brain. I'm gonna use it. Hopefully this won't get us into loads of trouble.
Well, what do you propose we do now? I, for one, am intent on continuing to the east.
What is there to be found in the east?
Nidhogg's lair, the Eyrie, is said to lie in that direction. And the eye tells me he is near.
You cannot still mean to slay him.
You cannot still mean to stop me. I have been true to my word, and aided you in this fool's errand with Hraesvelgr. But your efforts at parley have come to naught, Lady Iceheart. I would see Ishgard saved, and for that, Nidhogg must die.
With the tale of our ancestors' vile betrayal yet ringing in your ears, you speak of continuing this war?
Nay, lady. I would but pierce its vengeful heart. When Nidhogg dies, this war shall die with him.
A moment, Estinian. You yourself spoke of the Great Worm's strength, that you believed him powerful enough to raise your city to the ground. How then are we few to challenge him? Even behind the stout walls of Ishgard, with an army of knights manning the defenses, our victory would be hard won. Yet you propose to contend with the beast in his own lair.
In close combat, this will afford us an advantage. And with two Azure Dragoons working in unison, who can say what might be possible?
Okay, I'm not an Azure Dragoon, Estinian, but okay.
We'll just pretend Zuya's spouse is around here. They're like, that's the Azure Dragoon.
There we go.
But such
At the time of
speculation is
Heavensward, she
meaningless
was
if we cannot even
Dragoon.
find the worm.
And we were
Our
all
first
like
task
excited,
must
like,
be
oh
to
my
seek
god, he
out
actually
Nidhogg's lair.
acknowledged.
The story of this nation grows bloodier by the moment. Must death always be answered with more of the same?
Such is the way of things, I fear. I shall consider it a miracle if mine armor is not stained crimson ere this conflict is ended.
That I should be blinded by my own lies. Everything I believed, everything I thought I was, gone. All gone.
Leave her. Your words will not reach her now. And we have not the time to wait for her to gather up the pieces of her shattered faith.
Oh, rude.
Quest accepted.
It's one way to start a quest.
What a way to start us off.
No, she still thinks the same.
She's
Oh,
still.
okay.
Just. We don't want to leave her, but she's kind of stuck in a loop right now. She probably just needs to be left. She needs to be left alone. Just let her reboot for a little while.
Rebooting.
Error.
Error. Moon pie. Nope, rebooting.
No. Just playing Genshin Impact while we're doing this whole entire Nidhogg thing.
Oops, I went down the wrong way. Is anyone surprised? No. No one's surprised.
I like that it, like, Alfino was like, the east, what's to the east? And then you look up and you're like, I don't know, that?
Alfino was just super excited to see Hraesvelgr. He wasn't paying attention.
I would have loved a moment for Stinian to be like, just take his head and just like swivel it to the east, and he's like, do I need to explain why we need to go there? Like, what else obviously looks like the evil lair full of doom and dragons?
I wonder if that's Nidhogg's lair.
Well, now that we have, what is it? Is etheric lightning?
I think so.
Umbral static is what the weather forecast tells me. We got umbral static in Nidhogg's lair. I don't know what more ominous sky we need.
That could be Racevelger's lair, for all we know.
I know. Yeah. I don't know what lair we just came from, but I don't trust that that's really his.
It's probably Nero's. Nero's lair.
Nero can't even get up here. So yeah, it's like, Nero can't hurt you, Nero can't fly this high, I'm pretty
Nero
sure.
can't hurt me here.
Yeah, it's like, don't you dare invoke his... Oh, it's sheep time. What if Ziyaya came up to Estinian riding this sheep and he's just looking at it like he's just like remembering his life before?
She just comes in and he just gets war flashbacks.
Just like, sheep. She's just like, yes, this is my little sheep, I ride it. And he's like, you ride the sheep? What is wrong with you? But then he looks at her like, you are kind of tiny enough to ride a sheep, I guess.
Dead.
Oh, got sheep again. It's an omen. Sheep time.
It's Sheepstinian.
Estinian. He praises the sheep and he's like, you could get a pretty good price for the wool on this one. Everybody looks at him like, how do you know all this? I hated this quest up here because there was always stuff that was attacking you.
Yeah, I remember that.
Alfino. Estinian. Pray tell me that I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
He's looking up, he's like, please tell me that's not the evil lair.
Estinian's like, that's the evil lair.
He's just like, Estinian's like, I do not know how much more obvious this lair needs to be.
Is that it?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're just gonna stare at it.
Aye, that would be the Eyrie. I feel Nidhogg's presence through the eye, his caustic hatred gnawing at my soul. 'Twould seem the death of his consort has put him on guard. Mark how he wards his lair with tempestuous winds.
A similar barrier once barred our entrance to the primal Garuda's domain, until we discovered the means by which it could be penetrated. Mayhap it is time we called upon Master Garland. It will be just like the good old days, no?
Those were good days. Our friends were kidnapped.
We come to Sid and we're like, Sid, remember Garuda? And he's like, already having PTSD. He's like, oh god, what happened?
It's like good times.
He's like, airship. We're like, Sid, good idea. We want to go to Nidhogg's lair. And he's like, oh god.
He's like, so whale. What are we doing about the whale? And we're just like,
no, Sid. The whale comes later, and he's
we're like, yeah, Nidhogg. He's like, I thought it was Bismarck.
All right, what does Alfino say? If our only remaining recourse is to violence, then we should seek out the swiftest path to victory. With every moment we hesitate, Ishgar's prospects grow bleaker. I hear they're running out of Sawmill Tarts.
New wins, old friends. Same PTSD.
Estinian's like, whoever this Sid guy is, get him to me ASAP.
Estinian would have you enlist the aid of Sid Garland. A force of sufficient power to break through a primal's defenses might consumingly grant us access to the Eyrie. and I can offer no better solution. Pray, consult this engineer friend of yours.
Very well. On the condition that you swear not to lure Nidhogg from his lair in our absence and get yourself killed in a really gruesome way.
And steal all the glory for myself, you mean? Nay.
Yeah.
I am not
Yeah,
so
that's
selfish as that. Contact me by Link Pro when your preparations are complete, and we shall set forth from Ishgard together.
I suggest we rendezvous back at St. Rene's Forum. From what I've gleaned of the Holy Sea's decidedly ambitious airship project, Cid will still be in Ishgard.
So we went down the mountain all the way to Gridania, went back up the mountain to see Kane, and we went back up into here, and then we went back down the mountain.
We're gonna teleport.
I don't want to believe it. I just want to believe they went back down the mountain, they went back up the mountain, and then they went back down the mountain.
It could be canon. We do know for a fact that Warrior of Light has the ability to use teleport, so it's a canon ability. But the thing is that other characters don't, like Kane and her entourage. They don't use teleport. Well, first of all, even if they could, they can't because they didn't attune to the Aetherite like we did. Because you have to first get there in order to attune yourself, and then once you've attuned yourself, then you can teleport. But they've described in canon lore that teleport is a very dangerous spell. It's like using flu powder. You gotta be very careful with that shit.
Diagonally.
Diagonally!
Diagonally.
And then somewhere you're in Charlotte and you're like, how did I get here?
You're like, why is everyone so broody?
Mm-hmm. When last you saw Master Garland, he was advising the Ishgardians on their ailing airship, correct? It was out in the Sea of Clouds. Do you remember that part? I hated that part. Anyways, I wasn't even there. In that case, he might still be at Camp Cloudtop. Failing that, we could try the airship landing. Or maybe, failing that, we don't know where the fuck he is, so let's just look everywhere. I mean,
we just assumed he was here, and that's bad to assume.
we're just gonna check the camp and then the airship landing, and mayhap even the Sky Steel manufactory. Who knows? This could take days to finish this. Meanwhile, Nidhogg is probably killing Estinian right now. But let us not waste time searching aimlessly. Someone in the city is sure to know where to find him. They're just like, have you seen... well, we gotta call him a Here because we can't out him as a Garland. Have you seen a Here man with white hair that may occasionally shout at 3 a.m. in the morning due to PTSD?
Oh, you mean the Archbishop!
Bro. Well, who do we ask? Who do we ask? Who do we ask to find this strange man?
The map!
No, Sir Aymeric Slarks. Sir Aymeric is the map. Well, he would seem the obvious choice, but there's no guarantee that he will be able to grant us an audience at such a short notice. He's obviously very busy all the damn time doing Sudoku in his office, so... Ah, I have it! Count Edmond's youngest son prides himself on knowing all of the Holy Sea's juiciest rumors. Let us return to the manor and see if Lord Amalane is about. Oh great, we gotta talk to him.
Great.
He's only good for one thing, which is the juiciest bits of gossip. Well, I have to ask him, Amalane, is there blueberries? Do we have blueberries? Gotta answer this lore question. And he's like, I'm sorry, what are those? Blueberries. Oh boy, there's only Onawa, Amalane, Alfino, and the manservant. Oh, and the
Only.
steward's also cool.
Only on Brazzers.com.
Do you think the manservant of House for Tom has like an OnlyFans?
I mean, with that chiseled jaw, I hope so.
He is a very handsome Eladon.
He's beautiful. I'd subscribe. I pay $12.99 a month. Anyway,
Javon is like, you're gonna go get with my manservant?
He's like, I'm so happy.
He's crying.
Let's see, Hanawat. When it comes to exchange difference.
I was hoping that was when his balls were gonna drop, but you know.
Exchanging information.
Of an uncertain origin.
Lord of Mandolin is something of a prodigy.
So he's on Twitter.
he's Stan Twitter.
And Madeleine's like, I get all of my news sources from the Twitter trending feed. They're like, oh, this is gonna be good.
We're gonna end up in La Mensa. What do you have to say, Alfie, now?
We were fortunate to find Lord of Mandolin at home. I mean, it's not like he just lazes about here all day long anyways. The tavern keeper's loss is our gain.
Alright.
Is he saying that a Madeline drinks a lot at the tavern? Oh god, this guy's voice. Ah, the hero returns. How goes the fight, oh girl? Oh boy? Which one were you again? Well, I trust. In search of a Sid Garland, you say? Then say no more. I know him. He screamed at 3 a.m. Precisely at 3 a.m. Everybody was talking about it. The taverns are full of talk, and the name of said silver-haired genius has cropped up more often than most. They all say he's better than whatever this blonde-haired fellow is. I hear he's been tasked with getting that monstrous airship the Holy See commissioned to actually fly. I can't believe that. But to seem the project has been plagued with mishaps from the first. In any case, Garland Ironworks employees are known to frequent the airship landing, and I'll wager the master does too. The airship landing. Yes, I thought as much. I said that in my very first sentence, didn't I? Well, come. We must find Sid and trouble him for his expert opinion. And man's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to my jello shots.
Come, manservant.
His final saying is, if you do find Master Garland at the airship landing, I trust you won't forget who told you where to look. Credit where credit's due and all that. I get payment in jello shots.
Ugh.
So yeah, I was like, I wasn't comfortable the entire time talking to him. So yeah, I was like, do you ever look at somebody and you kind of throw up a little bit in your mouth? And Larks is like, I don't know what you're talking about. And she's like, you'll never understand me.
Like, did you not see the earlobes off that archbishop?
Hey, it's all three of them. I love you, Biggs and Wedge. You're my favorite.
Dumber, and dummy thick.
Okay. I figure out who... Dummy Thick, it could be two of these folks here. I think Biggs might have Dummy Thick on Sid. I mean, Sid might be thick, but Biggs, you can't beat Rogan and Figg's thickness, like. Alright, what are they talking about?
If Ishgard comes under attack, we'll have to get out of the city pretty sharpish. Don't much like the idea of leaving the job half finished, though.
Oh yeah, there's like bells ringing out like a dragon could come in here at any moment and kill everybody.
The
and
alarm, the alarm is Dragon Tales.
They're all listening to that. Like, maybe we should
Tales,
go.
Dragon Tales. It's almost time. Dragon Tales.
What's up, Wedge? What's that? There are dragons coming. I would have never known coming to Ishgard there'd be dragons.
I didn't finish the whole Realm Reborn plot. I just did Crystal Tower.
I last time you ever talked to me, I think it was Crystal Tower, wasn't it? I don't know. So sorry. Can't talk now. Have to finish this job and get out of here. We're all packing our packs and going. We're not dealing with a big giant dragon, right? We're about to ruin their day. Zuyaya, Larks, Alfino, how fare you both? Not terribly well, judging by your faces. You're about to dump something really bad onto me, aren't you? Greetings, Master Garland. For sure that is what we are doing. I am sure it will come as little surprise when I tell you we are in need of a favor. And it's like, alright. Okay.
Let me start screaming real quick.
He's just like, hold on, let me, been going to a new therapist. I have a new coping mechanism. I have a pillow here, and I'm going to scream into it.
Oh,
no! He's like, okay. Goes on for an uncomfortably long time. There's still more, like, alarm bells ringing.
Yes, Garn's like, was that the alarm?
Like, get the dragoons!
Dragon Tales, Dragon Tales.
Alright. Now another wind barrier. You say it was conjured by Nidhogg? You mean, you know, the baddest dragon out there? Enterprise could certainly take you where you need to go, but she would not fare well against the dragons. She's, you know, a little bit sensitive to teeth and claws. She's agile for a ship her size, but not that agile. Dravanians would fly rings around her. And if they took it into their heads to incinerate the rigging, there would be precious little we could do to avoid them. Yeah, I trust that dragons go, I'm gonna set that on fire, and when they look at something. But there must be something we can do. Some manner of weapon we could employ. What about a giant dragon mech? And Sid's like, no, we're not doing that. Estinian stands vigil at the edge of the turning mist, but we do not know how much longer. Alright. I didn't say it was impossible. You chat a whole lot, Alfino. I missed it. I said it was impossible for the Enterprise. We need a smaller boat, not a bigger boat. Biggs! Wedge! It's time we gave that new toy of yours a proper field test. It's probably best if I let the lads show you. Come on. The manufactory's not that far. Have you ever talked to Stefanovan? He's kind of eccentric. I might need my pillow. Where do these kids come from?
Huh?
There's just kids here. See, I was like, there's just 3 Ellison kids eating bread in a corner. I'm not used to seeing them here. They don't say anything. Ziya's like, shouldn't you be in bed? It is like, 4 a.m. in the morning.
They're like, we don't know. There's no sky here.
It's always snowing. What time is it?
That one's like, fuck the sky. It knows what it did. Oh. Well, good for you, ma'am. The gang's out here. Start with Sid.
The Ishgardians have granted us a use of the small corner of their workshop, and this workshop's already small, let me tell you. All part of the agreement. I think you'll see we've made the most of the space, which I mean we get one desk.
Elfino?
Ah, yes. The Sky Steel Manufactory. I'd never been in there, but as I recall, this workshop is primarily devoted to the construction of dragon-slaying weapons and Glocks. I'm thinking about getting one. Alfredo's like, you have the power of friendship and my Glock on your side. No, they all want to build bigger, but we know where the future is headed. Small people like us, right, Zuya? And Zuya's like, I understand. Lollifel Mafia.
Got little projects just inside. Oh, you're going to like this one. It's a door. You will like this door.
Oh, the door.
You can also go inside this door.
Feast your eyes upon our latest and greatest feat of engineering. We call it a mana cutter.
It cuts men.
After you put down Gaius, Wedge and me struck out on our own for a bit, and started work on the successor to the tiny Bronco.
Impressive little thing, isn't she? My talent for ship design has plainly rubbed off on them. They've adapted the principles of corrupted crystal technology and constructed a mechanism which converts ether from its surroundings into elemental wind. Said wind is then harnessed by the specially engineered sails, providing the craft with propulsion and lift. All in all, a most elegant solution.
Zuya is like, did you catch any of that, Larks?
Marsh is like, cuts men.
Got the AOL signal on as he's talking. He's like, etherical lift, and it's like, oh.
The design does, however, come with one small flaw.
The energy conversion ratio's bloody awful. To generate enough power to get you off the ground, you need to be in an area awash with predominantly wind-aspected ether.
In other words, there are a few places you can fly, lots of places you can't.
The new Ishgardian airship hasn't left the boys much time for tinkering, meaning it may be a while before this particular project takes off. If you'll forgive the pun.
Tataru, what's happened?
I've been looking all over for you. There's been word from Ulda. It's about Her Grace, the Sultana.
Her Grace?
It seems you're required elsewhere. Leave the mana cutter with us. We'll see that she's airworthy and suitably equipped to slice through those winds. You, meanwhile, should concentrate on providing Raoban and the Sultana whatever help they need.
So if I had one gripe about Heavensward, is really the
How they
pacing.
ping pong the plot.
Yeah, it's the pacing between this and Ulda.
It's like, can this wait? Like, is Stydian's waiting?
Like this, like yeah, this
Lena?
pops up in like such a weird moment.
You're just kind of like, Is anybody gonna link pearl? Does he have a link? I think he does not have a link pearl.
I don't think so.
I think Aemeric takes all of his mail and shit. that's canon. Aemeric's like, I'll take Estinian's mail, just give it to me.
And it's like, I know they're trying to wrap up the plot of Realm Reborn, but it's just like, it's just weird pacing from the start with the Ul'dah thing in Heavensward.
Oh well, it's just what it is. I just always found it hilarious where we're like, Estinian's gonna be, he like stands out there and he's like, they'll be back any moment now.
Someday. so much later, the narrator got tired of narrating and they had to hire a new one.
It's not like Estinian's not having a blast taunting Nidhogg out there.
Notice me! No! Alright, Alfino.
I am as intrigued as you guys. Shall we hear the news Tataru has brought us, and let's forget all about a dragoon. What's his name?
A general summons. Tataru has news for you about Ul'dah.
General Raubon says that they may have uncovered the Sultana's whereabouts. It seems she never even left the fucking city. And he wants you, by which I mean both of you, to go to the Waking Sands right away and help with the investigation. Well then, come. Pressing though Ishgard's plight may be, our presence here will not serve to hasten the Manacutter's completion. It's almost like there's a plot thing hindering us, so let us return to the troubled lands of Thanalan and lend what aid we may. Tataru, have our friends at the congregation send a message to Estinian. He doesn't have a link pearl, nor... Just send this pigeon out. I'm sure this pigeon will reach him. Tell him we have identified a solution to our problem, but that it will take some time to prepare. As you wish, Master Alfino. Alright, that way Estinian won't, just stand around all day.
It's like, joke's on you, I can't even read.
Estinian gets it, and he's just like, I don't know. Well, to the Waking Sands, Warriors of Light. 'Tis past time Ul'dah was delivered from its darkness. Alfino's like, I want this finished because this is kind of my story plot. And you're like, okay, Alfino. So where do we have to go back, pray, return to the Waking Sands?
You'll... just like the good old days. Though I think this is, like, one of the last times we do this, too.
Well, this kind of wraps up some of it. I mean, Ul'dah still has its crumbling government to deal with, but... that's something we can fix later. It's hard when a nation's kind of, like, a little bit bursting at the seams a bit. You can't just, like, fight a boss and have that be it. CI is just like finally back where it's damn warm. Not freezing our balls off here.
Back to the Spirit Halloween. I mean, Waking Sands.
A nice Waking Sands. Spirit Waking Sands.
The Spirit Halloweens of Sands.
That's why the Ashtons don't dare come in. They're like, it's just a Spirit Halloween store. And they're like, it's November now, though. They're like,
Everyone's like, I covered my arm. You don't have to look at it anymore.
I know it's disgusting, so...
No thanks are necessary, General. I trust your recuperation continues apace.
I cannot complain. Thanks to Higiri and her ministrations, I've regained much of the strength I lost during my imprisonment.
As much as this is a pause in the plot, it's still, like, amazing to look at Raubon.
I gather you have made
I just want to
progress
see
in the
his
search
face.
for her grace.
Aye, some good fortune at last.
A few days past, Dulala informed us that a sizable shipment of alchemical supplies had been delivered to the palace.
With Papa Shan's assistance, I set out to ascertain the source and nature of the shipment. My inquiries led me to Frondale's frontistery. There, I learned that an order had been placed for a curious substance designed to sustain patients trapped in death-like slumber. An invention of the former head alchemist, apparently.
A death-like slumber? This cannot be a coincidence.
It lends some weight to Dulala's claims, aye. Her Grace is likely somewhere within the palace, abed but alive.
Before making any attempt to extricate the Sultana, however, it seemed prudent to learn what manner of substance was used to induce her torpor. To that end, I made inquiries as to the whereabouts of the one most like to have administered it. The lady-in-waiting, Meriel. We sent for you as soon as we learned of her location. All that remains is to apprehend the woman.
We shall find our cat's paw in the Silver Bazaar. But we must tread carefully. The market is not the bustling place it once was, and someone is sure to mark our coming. Should they inform the monetarists, we'll have a fight on our hands. We must be prepared for the worst, and being short an arm, I thought it wise to take another in its stead. What say you, Warrior of Light? Will you lend me yours? Then I pity the bastard that stands in our way. Come, my friends, for Nanamo, and for Ul'dah!
Oh god, that cheesy camera! It was like the camera gets close and he just gets hit in the head with the camera. He's like,
He's
ow!
just like, bonk, can you back up, cameraman? Like,
Elfino, what do you have to say?
if one had chosen to entrap the Sultana in a death-like sleep rather than slay her, then one would surely also know of a means to rouse her from said state. There must be an antidote to this poison. Yukira, you're very pretty.
She is.
Every time I look at her, I'm like, I'm so glad you have a face.
Our target is Meriel, the Sultana's former lady-in-waiting, a woman of Midlander heritage. I am told the two of you have met. Our sources indicate that she left the palace shortly after the incident and quietly rejoined the dwindling population of the Silver Bazaar. I suggest we begin by questioning the market's residents and confirm that Meriel is still in hiding there. Ninja. I forgot. Is that
It's like Ninja Tribe out.
I'm just gonna teleport to Horizon.
Oh, so yeah, he's like, I just walked out the door.
Figured it'd take a little bit easier to get to the Silver Bazaar because we have to go half the land to Western Thailand.
Yeah. Or I could just fly across the ocean.
There's no time! Why fly when you could run?
Fargo? The cat is hitting a bag. Hey! Hey, hey, hey! Stop hitting the bag. His food bag was left out. He's hoping that there's food. Do you hear the crinkle? That's the sound of a desperate cat, hoping there's food. Kitty, kitty, you've already had dinner.
Oh, hi, Gary. Our target is Muriel, in case you weren't listening to me and you were falling asleep. The Sultana's former lady-in-waiting, a woman of Midlander heritage. I'm gonna repeat what I said to you before. Okay. What's your name? Spotted Meadow. I feel like I've met you before.
Was he part of the, like, bizarre quest we had to do here during the,
I think... I'm not sure.
He looks like a thaumaturge.
Do I know of any returning residents? Gods, don't tell me they're starting to come back. My masters will not be pleased to hear of this.
Oh, was he part of the thugs that were supposed to drive everybody out of here?
I think so.
Maybe he was part... I don't know if we did the side quests here. Because I don't think you can in New Game Plus. We know Kiki Poo.
We do know Kiki Poo.
I'll just do her. Well, greetings, both of you. What can I do for you? Or what can I do for the Silver Bazaar's favorite adventurers? I forgot what you did exactly, but I remember you're my favorite. Looking for Muriel, you say? If you're hoping to lure her back to Ul'dah, you may as well give up now. The girl's done with city life. She said it very loudly as she came in.
I'm done with city life! And they're like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's what I said about 8 years ago, too. And look where I am. Oh, it's Danielle! Danielle! He's also part of the side quest.
Muriel. Aye, she's here. That does any for good, she says. Barely leaves her house, though. It's the one closest to the market entrance. Or my name's not Danielle, or...
His voice is hoarse because he yells all the time.
Father keeps obsessing over this stupid watch.
Oh, so I was like, do you see these samurai? It's just a samurai standing there. Oops.
There's a samurai.
Oh, Raubon and Papa Shan are right here too. The samurai is because I completed the samurai quest and they don't disappear.
Oh yeah, me too. Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, the sword.
Like,
the sword is behind here. Or I guess the katana.
Somehow a Stormblood plot has happened already.
Oh, Papa Shan, I haven't talked to you in a long time. Well, easy now, General. We don't want her bolting down some other hole, 'cause there's gold in them darn hills.
Raubon's like, why do you keep talking about gold? We already know there's barely any copper in our mines. Oh, God damn it. Where is she? I will tear this place apart if I must.
Raubon, you have one arm left. Let's not get crazy.
He's like, you can't tear anything with just one arm.
Oh. He's
like, oh, watch me tear this book. And he just starts ripping the pages. Alpino's like, I see Raubon got out a book. Okay, I hope that's not one of my books.
It's one of Alvino's books.
Oh, he's like, oh, Raubon. I've met the Sultana. Bad snake! They're like, okay, he's having a PTSD moment. Let's just leave him alone. I have met the Sultana's handmaiden on numerous occasions, but I cannot for the life of me bring her features to mind. It's almost like I wasn't looking at her face, I was thinking about myself.
I also think you never met her either, Alfino.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was a couple of times she was just there in the background when we've had,
Oh,
there's an Ishgard Ella's in here.
I think a lot of them are from the Samurai Quest.
Oh, you're right. See, I was like, who are these people? They're not from Ul'dah. Is this her? Does this look like her?
It looks like the one that always kept saying, "Yo, Grace."
Your Grace, I'm done with city life, she says very loudly as we enter, and we're like, that must
I'm
be
done
her.
with the whole life.
You are Meriel, the Sultana's former lady-in-waiting?
I know no one of that name. Pray excuse me. General Alden.
Now you fucked up.
We will have the truth from you, girl.
Mayhap it would be better coming from me.
Oh no.
See, I was like, you know that little barfing thing I was talking about earlier? It's coming back.
Lonorito, you best talk fast.
As you know, Teleji
No, there's that
Adeleji's
word
Cartano
again.
reclamation bill was no more than a facade. A means to get his grubby little hands on that Allagan monstrosity Omega. When he learned of Nanamo's intention to abdicate, however, he was forced to amend his plans. Suddenly, assassination seemed the most promising way to further his ambitions. I am told Teleji had discovered a maid in whose veins ran the blood of House Thorn. A new, more pliable puppet to sit the throne. 'Twould have caused an uproar, of course, but few could have contested her claim. "'Twas plain that Teleji's wild machinations had outgrown our ability to control them. So I decided to usurp his scheme and left the fool to seal his own demise.
And what of Nanamo?
Oh, I have no desire to harm her grace. 'Twould profit me little to destabilize our government. Thus did I employ young Meriel here to administer a potent sleeping potion in place of a poison. You should know, General, that your dear friend Ilberd was fully aware of my plan. I had him lie about the assassination as a means to prime your rage against Teleji. We weren't entirely sure how you would react, but things went rather better than expected.
You conniving little worm! You had your claws in the Crystal Braves before their first recruit had sworn to serve!
But of course, when a new game begins, 'tis only prudent to have a piece on the board. Ilberd was mine. Truth be told, a significant proportion of the Braves' initial endowment was also mine. With such large sums moving about, 'twas a rather trifling matter to disguise my own contribution. Ah, Ilberd. I secured his services with a promise to support his cause once my authority had been solidified. I swear, the man thinks of naught but prizing Alamigo from the grasp of the Empire. Unlike you, General, the poor fellow seems quite unable to forsake the land of his forefathers. Mayhap that's why he called you a traitor to your people and a disgrace to your homeland, amongst other things. What was it he always compared you to? Oh, yes, an overgrown lapdog begging for scraps at the Sultana's table. Oh, how we laughed. Alas, Ilbert's entertaining little outbursts eventually gave way to wearisome tirades, and the zealous brute became rather unruly. I had no wish to see you executed, you understand, but he would not take no for an answer. Rest assured, his employment with me has long since ended. Which brings us neatly to the present. What say you, General? Both you and the Sultana are alive. We have one corpse and one fugitive, and preparations have been made to restore your good name. Shall we cry quits and start again with a blank ledger?
The hells we will! Do you honestly expect me to forgive and forget? After all you've done? You're guilty of high treason!
Stay your blade, Master Alden. You yourself are not innocent. Or have you forgotten your own crime in executing Teleji Adeleji without trial? Though you acted out of loyalty to the Sultana, such deeds are in violation of both the word and spirit of the law. If you would, Lord Lolorito?
This potion will wake the Sultana from her slumber. Consider it a gesture of conciliation. You will find her grace resting comfortably within her private chambers. Should you doubt my word, I shall willingly accompany you to the palace as your hostage.
I like not your motives, Lolorito. But you saved the Sultana's life, and for that, you have my gratitude.
Rauban Aldin, you are hereby reinstated as General of the Immortal Flames. The citizens of Ul'dah shall once more be united under Nanamo Ul'Namo, and together we shall usher in a new age of prosperity.
Why does this feel so bad then? Everybody's like, a new age of prosperity feels so good. And this is why you can't win against the corruptedness of Ul'dah.
Nope.
It's like this was still a better outcome than what could have happened, but like everybody's feeling shitty. They're all like, this was not a win. This was definitely not a win. Every single one of us, Warrior of Light, Alfino, Rauban, we were all played like little pawns on little Lolorito's board. We were all played, and we performed exactly to his expectations. It just feels bad. It just feels awful.
It does feel awful, and also fuck Lolorito.
I know. It's like he gets to go away scot-free, and Dulala being the lawful neutral she is. This is why I hate lawful neutrals at the end of the day. She only cares about the law. She's not really on Lolorito's side, but she's not on Rauban's side either. And it's like, you snake, Dulala.
All just to get rid of one man.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, Lolorito, like, hurt a lot of people.
Lolorito's the reason why Raubon doesn't have a whole ass arm, and you want to call this fair?
Raubon's the reason why he doesn't have an arm. Alphinaud's depression is because of Lolorito.
Yeah,
Ida,
Alphinaud's like, I'm
Papalymo, Y'shtola, Thancred, and Minfilia's disappearance are all because of Lord Lolorito.
Yeah, and Dulala wants to be like, oh, I'm being fair and neutral, and it's like...
You don't realize a lot of people got hurt.
If Lolorito really wanted to go the proper route, he would have been just like, hey, Telegi's like doing illegal shit. Take him to trial. If Dulala's so, like, this is what I hate about Dulala. If she's so enamored with the idea of taking, you know, Telegi to trial, then they should have done that in the first fucking place. Instead, they got people killed.
It don't make sense to me.
Yeah. Dulala's not a good person. Nobody can convince me that nobody can convince that Lolorito's a good person, but most people know that. But most people do not realize that Dulala is an awful person as well, because of her neutrality.
It's just good business, I guess.
They only care about making money at the end of the day. They don't care about human lives, or I should say mortal lives, in this matter. That's Ulda! Oh yeah, you better bet, like, Zuyai is feeling really great right now. She's like, oh, this is,
Well, we even saw Lolorito, what he was doing, even in the beginning of Realm Reborn, doing the Ulda plot. All those people, even with the Sultana sword, and even, Fufalupa, there was a lot of shit even happening back then with Lolorito that was kind
Oh yeah,
of
the
like...
writing was always on the wall in Ulda. Anybody who lives in Ulda will always get this sinking feeling that, something's not quite right here.
Yeah.
But it's just that Warrior of Light gets to be actually involved with all of the politics, and it's like, oh,
Hell, even had to help his stupid turtle in a guild house.
This Telegi's stupid turtle. Or is that Lolorito's turtle?
It's one of them. Both. I hate both of them pretty equally.
I hate everybody who's on the Syndicate except
Godbert.
and
but
Raubon,
but here's the thing about it too. Like, if a lot of the Syndicate members knew about it, a lot of them were for it too. Then, so I honestly, anyone who's on the Syndicate.
I don't even think Dulala was even in on it until recently, and Dulala's being a bitch by being like, well, I'm a neutral party that's, you know, overseeing everything, and it's like, your neutrality is harmful. But, I don't think... I mean, obviously, Raubon, he's on the Syndicate, he had no fucking clue, he was being played. The rest of the Syndicate, I believe, was just, again, more pawns on the board where maybe they were being manipulated, but they didn't know. I would imagine Godbert would have done something, but I think Godbert is not usually kept in the loop because they look at him and he's an eccentric. He barely wears pants. Do you think Lord Lolorito looked at a guy who barely wears pants and said, I'm gonna let him in on this? Like, that's the rules in Ulda.
Okay, Yugiri. You had killed the one you served. Pray excuse my mutterings. I was reminded of a line from an old poem. Okay. How you doing, Alf, you know?
By the 12, I feel more depressed than I've ever had. I feared Lord Lolorito's arrival would herald another bloodbath. Little did I suspect that he, of all people, would gift us a means to rouse Sultana. I still want to spit on his face, and Zuyai is like, Alphino, we can be friends now. Alphino's like, I think I feel anger. Zuyai's like, yes.
Awakening in Ulda. Alphino would see this dark chapter in Ulda's history brought to a close.
Way to Ulda. Should imagine Bartholomew has been instructed to admit us. If not, we could just be like, I have a paper that says I can do what I want. It's signed by Sir Aymeric, but I'm sure that he will accept it. So you guys like, did you take that from Estinian's pockets? He's like, yeah. He's not using it right now. He's just waiting. It's been like 2 days now, and Estinian's like, I'm sure they'll be back. He just now got the letter, and he's like looking at it like, okay, they went to Ul'dah.
I was like, we left a depressed Elzen and a depressed, angry Elzen to their own, just for a little bit. Oh, your mic, you're cutting out a little bit.
I'm disappearing into the ether.
There you are.
I saw my camera wasn't going well. And I was like, no. Something about entering Ul'dah caused my internet just to spike.
Walking up this far, it was that time we did the banquet and everything was happy.
Yeah, last time we were here it was the banquet, wasn't it?
Yup. This is also
all good things.
You know what's funny? Ida did a limit break and there's like no...
They're like, we've already repaired that. We have a, stonemason on hand at any time.
Let's see you, Gary. I hope Lord Lilaria's potion is effective as he claims. You and me both. He, like, gives it to Rabban and it was like, sit, that was the poison.
Matter of 5 minutes. Bartholomew, for one, does not seem remotely surprised by our presence here. Shout out to Bartholomew, who's just this bit character, but it's like, I feel like I know him, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's like that work friend you barely talk to.
Flame General Rabban mentioned you might be coming. Please this way, if you will.
He's one of the few canon paladins we have around here. That's not, like, attached to the paladin quest.
Oh, that table gives me PTSD.
We're never sitting at that table again. Throw it out the window. I like the Sultana was in her bed the entire damn time.
She was on the floor at one point.
They just moved her to the bed.
And they did take off her outfit and put her on a little nightgown.
Oh yeah, nice little touch. Like, well, we want to make sure she's comfy. So we're gonna put her in a little nightie.
What in the Sleeping Beauty is this?
He's like, what do I do with this? Do I just dump it on her face?
He like drowns her with it. I'm awake!
Also, I like the Boogle and Chocobo plushie just right there.
I was having the longest dream.
"'Tis time to wake up, Your Grace. Another day begins in Thanalan, and the sun blazes bright upon the sands.
Aww. Meanwhile, with my Lalafell, it's like 4 pissed off Lalafell and Alfino. Alfino's like, huh, I'm finally tall.
Her Grace is awoken. The palace physician assures me she is none the worse for her slumber.
She just suffered a bad case of the nappy naps.
I believe Her Grace will soon resume her plans to place the government of Uldar into the hands of its citizens. Whatever path she chooses to take, I shall walk it with her. And we shall tread slowly, lest the nation be unsettled in our wake.
Her Grace's compassion is a shining beacon to us all. But what our city truly thrives upon is competition. 'Tis in the struggle against our rivals that opportunities are seized and fortunes made. And with the Empire on the offensive once more, now would hardly seem the time to turn our system of government upon its head.
Are you privy to new intelligence, my lord?
I would hardly call it new. Remind me, what was the name of that enormous Imperial warship which met its end in Mordona? Oh, wait, I have it. The Agrias, yes, well. 'Twould appear that the Garleans have been hard at work on another such vessel.
How close are they to completing this ship? Is it operational?
Its maiden flight was a success, I hear. I should imagine Emperor Varys is eager to see how it performs in battle. My lords and lady, I move that it is time to repair the damage caused by Teleji Adeleji and prepare our great nation to repel the Empire once more.
Alright, so the Garlands have a new big fucking ship. Whoop-de-doo.
"'Tis well that the Sultana has awoken. The Syndicate yet needs to put its house in order, but 'twould seem the worst of the confusion has passed. Uldar has taken control of its future, and I must do the same."
I'm going to use the urinal for the first time.
I'm an adult.
I have decided to disband the Crystal Braves.
Wasn't it already?
Among the recruits, there were those who supported our Order's goals and convictions with all sincerity. 'Tis my hope that these loyal men and women will choose to remain our allies in the battles to come. As for those who sided with the traitor, Ilberd, they shall be hunted down and held to account for their crimes. It is my earnest hope that they will surrender themselves peaceably when the time comes, though I think it unlikely. Ah, my all-conquering Crystal Braves. The model army meant to pave the way for a single unified Grand Company of Eorzea. That so high an ideal should be brought so low. I need not tell you how deeply the betrayal stung me. Yet I see now that it was mine own naivety and pride which allowed the Braves to fall prey to corruption. As ever, it is to your own shining example that I turn for inspiration. Like you, I mean to stand firm in the face of hardship and give mine all for the cause. Let us resume the search for our missing comrades, that we might come together to shine the light of dawn across the realm once more. The role of Crystal Brave Commander suited me ill, and I shall play it no longer. Henceforth, I shall be no more or less than Alfino, proud member of the Scions.
Did I hear character development?
That's like one of his biggest pieces of character development. He's just like, you know what? I know what my character flaws are, and I'm gonna work on them. And you're like, whoa, 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 really? It was that simple? He's like, yeah.
Like,
I found my character.
Okay.
He's like, I'm not gonna be depressed about them anymore, I'm just gonna work on myself, that's fine. I'm only 16, I can do this. And you're like, okay. Oh, well, I blush to speak thus of mine inner turmoil, but the fact remains, there is no woman alive or man in whom I would rather confide. Were not for your shining example, I might not have ever emerged from beneath the pall of my despair. Here's some thanks. I know you get it too often, but I'd like to offer my own thanks.
A brave resolution. Oh god. Alphino would know how things stand at the Rising Stones. We're visiting all our old headquarters today.
What is the Rising Stones disguised as? And Zia's like, we didn't disguise it. And he's like, oh, well.
Yeah, Crystal Brave was blocking it.
He's like, well. I still haven't gotten a what do we... Got an AOL message from Mastercard. He's like looking at his phone and Zia's like, what is that? I hope this mana cutter of theirs is nearing completion. We're kind of, running out of time?
I am assured that Her Grace will make a full recovery.
Aye, and Ul'dah, too, shall flourish once more. General Ralbon and his colleagues have matters well in hand, I believe. I mean, only one hand, but... Lady Yugiri, a question, if I may. I believe your people have been keeping a close watch on the Crystal Braves. Might you know how things stand at the Rising Stones?
Ah, yes, of course. You will be pleased to know that the 3rd Unit Braves abandoned Revenant's Toll when they learned of Captain Ilbert's defeat. The only blue uniforms to be seen there now are those worn by soldiers loyal to you, Master Alphino.
To me? I see. I am grateful to hear that at least some of our members were true to their oaths. Ere we return to Ishgard, I must go to the Rising Stones and thank these stalwarts for their service. It shall be my final act as Crystal Braves commander. Will you join me? Both of you? Maybe we can hold hands. I mean, just until we get into the building. That's okay, but, you know. I'm just throwing it out there. You were there at the company's inception. 'Tis only fitting that you be present at his end. And I would appreciate the support. Not that I need you or anything, just nice. Okay, I'm gonna leave.
He walks with holding Yugiri's hand. Oh my god, that actually would be really cute. Yugiri just becomes his mom.
Gia is like, what is this feeling? Is it jealousy? Dumb. Dumb!
Where did Yugiri go? Oh, she had to go.
Gia is like, there's only one mom available. She's like Lark's weird uncle.
Moon pie. That's what we'll have tonight.
She's like, my points. Lark's when he becomes like old, tired veteran warrior, like he's just like Uncle Iroh. He's just like, this is tea. They're like,
Who wants to play Pie Show?
They're like, tell us about the ultimate weapon. He's like, but first, let's have some tea. Was I a lame?
I can't remember. I'm going to assume so. I know you're real.
I'm real for sure. Gotta get my pirate voice out. Commander, you're alive. We already had a funeral for you and everything. Ah, yeah, everybody else in the Scions died, I heard. Even Y'shtola? Shit. Plus the Warriors of Light, too. I knew you'd scrape through. Except for everybody else. They're dead. My splendid crystal braves. I have wronged you. What? He's just gonna start off like that. I've wronged you all. I'm sorry. I have wronged you. All of you. My promises of glory and salvation have brought you naught but blood and betrayal. What the hell are you talking about? You'll not hear us complaining. This was a sight messier than expected, but we are still fighting for the freedom of all, just like we swore. Ain't that right, mates?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you.
Oh.
You humble me. I'm truly blessed to have such steadfast comrades. It is with the most profound regret, then, that I must... That's enough of that, Commander. We know that you've a mind to say, and we ain't having nothing of it. We've talked it over, see, and we all agreed. You can take our uniforms and strip us of our rights, but we'll be no less of a company. But the Crystal Braves, they were funded by laundered money and evil people. Well, that might be true, but that's kind of cool. The Crystal Braves may be finished, but the ideals upon which the company was founded live on. They bind us to each other, and to you. Commander. Alright, Alfino. Our minds are made up, so you may as well get used to it. Let us help the Scions. Let us help you find Minfilia and the others.
Yeah, huh?
My friends, after all that has happened, I know not what to say.
I'm gonna punch you.
I might cry a bit. It's okay, don't look at me. Poor baby. He's like, I'm gonna draw you all the nicest crayons I've ever had.
Oh gosh, people to talk to.
It's the Rising Stones again.
Someone to talk to. Oh, let's talk to...
I like that there's scattered bottles and everything in here.
Oh yeah, there is. Let's see, Ephemine. Lark Shallow, Zuya. I joined the Crystal Braves in the hopes of following in your footsteps, and I do not regret the decision, not even for a moment.
Zuya's like, I regret my own decisions. I'm glad you don't.
Do I? If we scrutinize the Scion's records, they should provide us with likely locations to which the missing archives might have fled. Put your mind at ease. It is for work for such as that we have been trained. Oh, okay. Gonna ignore them. Go over to you, Geary. I feel blessed to have witnessed such a display of camaraderie.
She's like, I was also going to cry with Alfino, I think. That was really touching.
Geary.
We must repair the damage if our minds are to find focus. Now, where do we begin? I believe these were all Thancred's bottles. Is this Among Us? Or Ermgus?
I think he was the one that was always drunk all the time.
Was he?
I think so.
I thought that was Thancred.
Yeah, Thancred was drunk, but I think he was also kind of drunk at times too. First things first, we must needs put the Rising Stones in order. We cannot have the Archons return to find their headquarters in such a shambles.
It's Mr. Among Us himself. Come to help us.
Oh, it knows on. Oh, I sent Shinobi to spy upon the brass blades, and it would seem that Ida and Papalimo's resistance accounted for a sizable number of the company's soldiers. All we know for certain, however, is that our friends' corpses were not found amongst the bodies they left behind.
Okay. My detective work tells me that if you don't find a body, that usually means they're not dead.
Or it was moved.
So yeah, I was like, don't doubt my logic. I always check for the corpses of my enemies because I know they're gonna come back.
True. Let's talk to Elaine.
We'll find the missing scions, I promise you. Between us and the immortal flames, no stone in Eorzea will be left unturned.
Not every stone? I mean, this is the Rising Stones after all.
Oh gosh.
Ariel.
I don't know if you know, but during that goddamn feast, Flawman got ambushed by some 3rd unit curs over in Limsa. I'm told she danced free of their noose though. Ain't heard nothing since, but my guess she's lying low somewhere in the port.
Oh, that's right. Her, Hori Boulder, and Coltonate went to Limzo before we went to the thing.
Yeah. She's kind of safe.
Yeah, she has
I wonder where Hori Boulder and Colton are, or maybe they're on honeymoon. They're like, oh,
yeah. I have a feeling they might be with her.
They're with her on honeymoon, and she's just like, ugh.
She's the one that's going to be the one marrying them.
She officiated their wedding in Limsa.
Alright, Alfino.
Pray excuse me. I thought my tears spent. I still have more. Is this what it feels like to be you on a daily basis, just crying all the time? My grandfather used to say that one could measure a man by the constancy of his comrades. Mayhap I am the exception which proves the rule. Nay, do not protest. I know that I am not worthy of their loyalty. But as Thaliak is my witness, I shall do everything in my power to earn it. Oh, Alfino. You earned it a long time ago.
Aww. Alfino's grown up.
Yeah.
But
I think it's because he learned, he was like, I kind of bashed my way in just thinking I deserved things. Because he was a privileged little lordling, you know. He just thought it was his birthright to take over and lead Eorzea because his grandfather did the same thing. But it was like, Alfino, your grandfather actually worked for it.
Plus, I feel like after the crystal, what happened at the banquet, and going through Ishgard with Yazael and Estinian, I think really humbled him a lot.
Yeah, well, it's like for the first time ever with Yazael and Estinian, he's finally being treated, you know, exactly how he is. He's a really smart little Elzen, but he's still naive and doesn't know a lot of the world, but he's getting there. He's getting there.
Mm-hmm. He is.
And he's getting there faster than most people would, so he should pat himself on the back because he learned really quickly how to right his mistakes, and that's a lot more than you could say for even other characters in this game.
Oh, for sure.
So Yaya is going back to eating the rest of her French toast. Yeah, so if you hear the chewy noises, that's just her. She's just like, come back into this toast. It's getting a little bit stale now. It's been 2 days.
But just because we love Estinian, and we know he's ready to fight Nidhogg, we're out of time.
So yeah, it's like, it's time for a nap now. I know there's beds here.
So next time we'll have Astidian get what he's wanting. But because he's such a little twat, I feel like we should make him wait just a little bit longer.
The wind is like rustling through his armor, and he's just like, any moment they'll be back.
Someday my prince will come. On the other side, Yzael's just like, look at me.
Yzael is still
I will
upset.
never prove to be a perfect bride. She's having her like Disney moment. So yeah, that was our stream today. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up because it does help it out a lot. And if you're enjoying the series, please hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you'll be notified next time that we are streaming. So next time we will be storming Nidhogg's lair. Hope to see you then.
Stanian's excited.
The one dislike we get from this video is from Astidian.
It's just like, you hurry your ass up. Oh man, you sat in Manfilia's chair?
Yeah.
I'm down at the stream now.
Add insult to injury.